Hello everybody, and you're very, very welcome to our channel Narc Con, where today we're going to, as usual, talk about narcissists and narcissism in order to give us a much better understanding of what we went through and protect ourselves going forward with these individuals. The narcissist was on assignment with you or against you. Narcissists don't act singularly. Narcissists hunt in packs. And I know that's quite a strange way to approach the whole subject. And for some people, it may be entirely unintelligent. They may not want to go there, and that's absolutely fine. They may want to stick with the psychological approach, have it clean, it's a personality disorder, this is why they do this, and we're going to leave it at that. And if that's where you're at, absolutely. But from my personal experience and the amalgamation and the gathering of information from so many different other people, from clients in coaching, from reading, from etc., I firmly believe in the bigger picture, in the spiritual attack aspect, in the dark versus light aspect, in narcissists being energetically on assignment to dim light, to have their way of living dominate this world of ours today. And so I'd like to get into that for you, to go through my own personal experience and the fact that the discard from a narcissist in the most cruel fashion for a lot of people is the worst thing, or close to the worst thing that has ever happened in their lives. And we kind of think it is so bad, it's like coming out of a war. It's like surviving a war that we didn't know we were in. But the after effects of the discard are so devastating that I don't know about you, but I thought that if I can survive this, and I had no will to survive it at one stage, if I can survive this and ever come back to finding any joy in life, that nothing that bad could possibly happen to me again. And if I survived that, I was able for anything, that was the maximum cruelty that I would face. And that wasn't the case. And I'm going to explain that and why I've come to that conclusion in the kind of storyline, and what I believe narcissists and narcissism is there in the bigger picture to destroy the light and to destroy the individual who's attempting to live in the light. So when the narcissist doesn't succeed in destroying you in the discard, and the ultimate would be obviously that you say goodbye to the planet. It's the best way I can say it on YouTube. And you have the audacity to survive. And that may look very awful for you. That may take so much time. That may necessitate you struggling to get out of bed and struggling to keep your job and struggling to pay your bills because you are so depleted, exhausted physically, destroyed psychologically, in a mess as to who you are, what just happened, where you're going. And then the darkness that settles in you, that what is the point of, my life, and what's the point of continuing? You've hormonal fatigue, you have no dopamine, your self-regulation is totally shot because the narcissist slowly and subtly made you dependent upon them. And if you say, well, you should have taken responsibility for that, Paula, I'll say to you, it is so subtle, it is like a covert brainwashing program. So that's where I'm going to leave that with you. But this is where you find yourself, and the narcissist is basically gone off empowered. The more cruel they are, the more empowered they are about how devastated you are, which is, tell me if that's not dark. Tell me if that's not a spiritually evil encounter, because that to me is more than a personality disorder, having played itself out. That to me is humanity missing. It's saying a human has a personality disorder. Where's the human? So anyway, I'll just leave that part there. So we think we're in this devastated position and we're thinking, how am I going to survive this? Do I want to survive this? And we gradually get to stand up, and we gradually, a month later, 3 months later, begin to see that we've progressed a lot from the very beginning of where we were unable to move or function with post-traumatic stress. So the next thing that happens when we are struggling is we start to get more knocks. And we're going, how can this be? Like, I'm talking about severe knocks. I'm talking about running into a narcissist in your workplace, having a narcissist who's a tenant sharing your home. And you're already at the edge of survival, and you have to again fight something that would affect your survival, like that may affect you financially, your income. And the worst is to come. I'm going to get into that now in a few minutes. So you're pushed to the edge already, and more of them come in to push you further out. So when the first narcissist didn't succeed, and of course before the brick wall narcissist, as I call them, before the relationship narcissist came in and gave you this cruel discard, you would have been worked on at some stage as a child. But leaving that aside, the brick wall narcissist was meant to take you out. And if they didn't take you out, they were meant to turn you into one of the foot soldiers of darkness, is the best way I can describe it. And then if you didn't go down to their level in the smear campaign, where you go into hell to fight the narcissist on their own ground, if you didn't lower yourself to that type of, I suppose, drama, hysteria, negativity, lying about the narcissist, if you didn't go down to their level and use deceit and cruelty as a weapon against them, they know that you're going to survive. They know that they haven't finished the job. The master of darkness is not satisfied with that narcissist. The master of darkness, and I know you probably say there's a looper on YouTube talking about this, but this is just the way, the pictorial way I can describe it best. The master of darkness is saying, you idiot, I thought you said you were great, you said you were dark enough, and look, there she is, she's up and about again. So you didn't do a very good job, did you? You weren't cruel enough. You didn't destroy him financially. Get back on your horse, get some of your mates and go in there again and finish the job off, and don't come back to me until you've finished. The others come in. You maybe look like you're going to lose your job because of the narcissist in work. Now, how in God's good name can anybody stand up and fight against that when they're nearly fatally wounded? It's like one of them coming and standing on your arm as you try and, maintain a survival mode. And yet, the strength within you says, no, I've come this far. You are not going to take me out. I've stood against a dreadful experience. So bring it on. I know what I'm dealing with now. And people can say, well, Paula, do you not think maybe that, when the brick wall narcissist appeared in your life and you learned about who and what narcissists are and do, and the fact that they walk amongst us, do you not think then that you are seeing everybody as narcissists? And I would say to that argument, there is a validity in it up to a certain point, because you're in an awakened state. So yes, you can see more narcissists, but it doesn't mean that they weren't always there. You are definitely seeing more narcissists, but I'm telling you, they are attacking you. They attack in packs. So when he or the she hasn't finished the job and you're still standing, they will send another one in, because surely you can't survive that. I mean, hit a guy or hit a gal when they're down. That's the way to finish them. I am telling you, the light is so powerful. If a narcissist didn't manage to extinguish that light in you, it grows stronger with adversity, because you actually have to advocate for it. You have to protect it. You make a choice. And when you choose to live, even if it's subconsciously, if you've been helped by God, if you've been the recipient of the prayers of people who love you, and the power of the light, when people get together, when we focus on the light, there is nobody that can destroy that. And the dark is afraid of it. Nonetheless, when they perceive that your light must be very dim, they will come in again at you. Now, you may survive the next one. And you say, I've survived 2 of them. Bring it on. What you'll find then in the healing journey is things you can't identify as coming from any specific person or source. Things start to go wrong. And I'm not saying this to make anyone afraid, because you will deal with this and you are capable of it. But observe it. Recognize it for what it is. You may get a big tax bill. Somebody's reported you for something that you did or didn't do. Your car suddenly has a major problem. Things just don't add up. You go to a place that you've always gone and been received well before, and you get a funny look. I am telling you, there is an assignment against you surviving this. And, we think, again, I'll go back to the beginning of the podcast, we think we've survived the biggest, cruelest, most awful thing that could possibly happen to us, so nothing as bad as that could happen to us again. Well, nothing as bad happens again, but what happens is, because you're awakened, they will compound the pain of the first encounter with the brick wall narcissist discard, or you've left them, or whatever, but you've suffered in that ending. The agenda here is to either, there's a few agendas. The agenda here is either to take you out completely, or to turn you to the dark side where you become embittered. Don't let anybody else back into your life. Don't trust love. And actually stop being the person that you have the potential to be and that you were growing into. So to stop being generous, to stop being kind, to withdraw and to dim your light so that nobody notices it, so that you don't continue to spread it or use the potential you had to spread it. That's taken, one of the light side out. If you look at it, at the overall big picture, in spiritual terms, in the energy that there is on earth and on your life soul journey. So that was the second agenda of the narcissist. The first being to take you out altogether. The second, to absolutely turn you. And the third is, the second is to turn you, but the third is to make you, I suppose, totally give up on everything that you ever believed in, so that you stop living altogether. You may live in the form of a human being, but you become a non-person, which is very similar to what the narcissist is, except the narcissist, in order to be a non-person, actually goes around destroying and reaping and pillaging other people's resources and humanity. So ultimately, the assignment on you by a group of narcissists is to destroy you in whatever way that looks for you and your strength and your ability to combat it. Finally, if they can't get to you by coming at you directly, and if they can't make you miss them, which is ultimately the third agenda, if you were hit by the cruelty of the discard, if they then come marching in with their foot soldiers of darkness, the other narcissists, and you have a crisis at work, you have a financial crisis, you have fraud committed against you, you're reported for this, you're reported for that, and you have all this bad luck that you can't pinpoint. Life is meant to be so bad without the narcissist that you would want the narcissist back in it. That there's a contrast of the good times with the narcissist and the narcissist missing from your life and the absolute awfulness that you're experiencing now. But that awfulness is actually generated by the dark side. It is purposeful. And you're thinking, how come all of this bad stuff is happening to me ever since the narcissist left? Aka, should I go back to the narcissist? Recognizing it and resisting the temptation or resisting the trauma bond and getting your brain straight, this will not last. This spiritual attack will not last. The more you light up, the stronger you become, and the more you live in your soul and life. The more bountiful you are, the more you go into the light by helping others, by helping yourself, by spreading your kindness, your generosity, and your loveliness. The less chance they have in attacking your castle, because you're literally building a fortress. And you're building people who will protect you around you, people who love you, people who are of you. So go through this phase and understand that it is a phase. It's part of the battle. The first battle was the discard. The first outcome of the first battle was the discard. The rest of the battle is being fought with the reinforcements that are sent in. But it's a battle you're capable of winning if you know the agenda of the battle. And there is an end to the battle, as I said. You advocate for yourself. You deal with the practicalities of the evilness that they're throwing at you. You recognise it for what it is. And you become more. You become more of you, more light, more of your soul, more of your purpose. And you understand what it is that has happened. You understand that if they went against you to take you out, there must be something very special going on there with you. There must be a lot of light and a lot of potential in you because they went so hard at you to destroy you. And use that as your motivation. And they couldn't destroy you. They couldn't take you down. And you say, well, they did a bloody good job of it, Paula, because I'm in bits. And yeah, but you're still here. And you're watching podcasts like this because you know that wasn't right. You know that was very wrong, very dark, very evil, very purposeful. And if you don't want to believe it was purposeful, that's absolutely fine. But I'm just telling you, this happens to a lot of people, me included. And the worst part of the end of my particular battle, and they'll pop up again, you know, they'll stick their heads up above the parapet and you just go, off with you now. I've no time for you anymore. None of that old rubbish. I'm not going to get sucked into any drama, any hysteria, any person saying that you're just this and you're just that, grand, go off to you. You know, that's fine if you want to think that. That's coming from you. Anyway, the last thing is they will come in on an assignment against a family member of yours, a loved one. The most difficult, the most emotionally disciplined you'll ever have to be is in that final battle. But you can do it. It's been done. I promise you.